Everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jen Brinsmade, and I want to just share with you all tonight our Shred 10 program. And, I think the biggest thing for me is when you think about, we're all just trying to live our lives, being the healthiest versions that we can, but life gets in the way, right? We get busy. We oftentimes eat things that we know aren't the best for us. We oftentimes forget to drink water and move our bodies often. So the thing that I love about this particular program is that it's a reset, right? It gives you an opportunity to say, okay, I know that there's some things that I'm not doing so great at right now. And I can come to a program that has kind of been created, that has guidelines, that helps me stay focused, and I can just get myself feeling like I'm feeling the healthier version of myself. And so really that's what the Shred 10 program is. So Shred 10, I'm going to share my screen with everyone. Let's see. I want to just keep it very simple. I don't want to go overboard on giving you too much information, just so you can understand what the Shred 10 program is. Let's see, present, let's see, share. Okay, can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Shred 10 program really, like I said, is guidelines. And so there's 10 simple guidelines. Now we say you can do it for 10 days, but what I like to always share with my friends and my clients and my customers is that it's a jump start for your health, but it can also become your lifestyle. When you understand that there are certain things that we can be focusing on that really just help us feel better. And so within the Shred 10 guidelines, you've got things that you would add, and things you're going to reduce or eliminate, and then things you're going to eliminate altogether, okay? I think the big thing is to understand is that when you are shredding, Shred 10 is a reset or a detox program, because, we've got in the day-to-day, the environment that when we're outside, even when we're indoors, we are bombarded with toxins that really are creating inflammation in the body and are not helping us. So when you are doing something like shredding, you are letting go of some of the things that you can control. Like obviously outside toxins, we don't have too much control over, but we do have control over what we consume, right? And so we are going to be eating things that are way better for us, letting go of things that are processed, eating a lot more whole, nutritious foods, okay? So kind of think along those lines. So we will be adding lots of plant nutrition within this Shred program. You want to be eating as many fruits and vegetables as you possibly can, because it's helping the body. Obviously, you're consuming things that are more nutritious for you, but if you're eating those things, then you're not eating those processed foods as much, right? So within those guidelines, you're eating those vegetables and those fruits, and then you are going to be adding Juice Plus products, which are whole foods encapsulated. So think of fruits and vegetable concentrated plant powders. So you're getting a lot more nutrients than you can possibly get in the foods that you can consume. And then you will be doing 1 to 2 shakes a day. We have complete shakes, which are the macronutrients. So the micronutrients are the capsules, and the micronutrients are in the fruits and vegetables that you can consume, but then the macronutrients are what are in the shake. So those are the proteins and the carbohydrates and the fiber, which is so important when you are trying to clean your body out and get rid of toxins. Then of course, you're going to be drinking plenty of water. That's a big one. I think that most people struggle with that. That's, as a health coach, I find that most people struggle with consuming water. So when you are doing a jump start for your health, like the Shred, it kind of reminds you, and you start, you're getting back on track, right? I think that's the biggest thing. And then being more mindful of your breathing. The breath is the first thing that we do when we wake up in the morning. We are breathing, right? But we breathe so many, like 20, I can't remember, 20 Does anybody know the exact number that we breathe per hour? It's something ridiculous. Mimi, do you know? It's a lot. It's a lot. Thousands of times in a day that we breathe, and majority of them, we are just clueless. We just take it for granted. So during this shred time, we are going to be being more mindful of our breath. And I always tell people, you know, attach at least 5 breaths to things that you do every single day. You wake up, be mindful, and take 5 deep belly breaths, preferably through your nose. So you're getting the nitric oxide, which is really cleansing for your body. Then maybe when you brush your teeth, focus on 5 breaths. Before you have a meal, focus on 5 breaths. Before you go to bed, focus on 5 breaths. This says take 10 breaths, but if you can attach it, that's what I found for most of my clients when I help them just kind of make it simpler, and they attach it to something that they do, they become more mindful of it. Then, of course, we all know sleep is important, but how many of us really get those 7 to 8 hours that are good, deep, restful sleep? So in this time of shredding, you're going to focus on your sleep as much as you possibly can. And then, of course, we want you to move your body, right? Because that's going to help alleviate toxins from the body by moving your body, getting things flowing. You know, when you exercise, you become a lot more regular, right? So again, getting things flowing, the toxins flowing out of your body. Okay, so that's the easy part. The harder part for most people is the reducing and eliminating. And I'm just going to be honest. This is what I find for most people is the biggest struggle, is removing or eliminating or cutting back on caffeine and alcohol. And if you decide to shred, we've got lots of ideas for you. And so if that's something that you've always wanted to do, but have never felt on your own that you could do it, this is a great opportunity when you have that accountability with others that are supporting you and lifting you up to help you get over that hump. You know, and I always tell people the caffeine part really is not, if that morning cup of coffee is really, you just really feel like it's something that you have to have, things like, taking the caffeine, it's fine, but utilizing an organic coffee is super important because there's less toxins in organic coffee. You're going to also, I think I didn't say, you're going to be eliminating, well, let me stick with them. Sorry, let's stick with the reducing. And then when you're having the coffee, it's considered black, right? If you're doing it black, you're not adding sugar, you're not adding dairy, because those are things that you will be eliminating. And then really focusing on eating earlier so your body has a chance to really just break down the food, digest the food, so you can be in a more restful state for a better night's sleep. And then you're going to be, this says reduce or eliminate. I'm going to say eliminate processed foods, right? Eliminating the processed foods and getting more whole foods. And then for sure, we're going to eliminate gluten and dairy and artificial and refined sugars. And I think the thing about these guidelines are so important is that you are reducing and eliminating things that create inflammation in the body. And we know that inflammation is the precursor to most diseases, most metabolic diseases. When you look at the state of this country and how many people have metabolic disease, it starts oftentimes with what we put in our mouths. So this program just gives you that guideline and a framework for better health. And then we have the results are just phenomenal. For most people, they will find that they are craving more fruits and vegetables. They have better sleep. Their weight becomes healthier. We don't call this a weight loss program, but let's be honest, when you're getting rid of the things that our body holds on to that are toxins and that are inflammatory foods, once you are getting rid of those and you're adding more whole foods, your body is just going to find a better balance where weight is concerned. And you're exercising more. You're focusing on your exercise and moving your body. Then you're also going to have people found that they have better sleep and better energy, their nails improve, their hair improves, the regularity improves, their mental clarity improves. So all around, this is such a great framework for next level or amplifying. That's been the word, amplifying your health. So I think that, this is, like I said, I wanted to keep this an overview. And I really would love at this point, if Jamie, if you wouldn't mind just sharing, since you did the shred starting in January, if you wouldn't mind just kind of giving an idea of what your experience has been, that would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to. And I think what you're going to find for all of you that do it, and it's so easy. And I've talked to some people. I had some friends that did it, and it was maybe a little bit tougher on them. Just it's the giving up part that sometimes is a little bit tougher. But the thing about it that I love is the flexibility. And if you do 7 of the 10 things, that's 7 things differently you're doing during this 10-day period of time than you were doing before. And at least for me, what I found was the inflammation is the biggest thing. I'm telling y'all, 3 days in, you will feel different. The craving of the fruit and vegetables, that's legit. But it gets to a point now, because I know if I do this for about 3 days, if sometimes I have a weekend where some enchiladas or a little bit of chips and queso was involved, we won't even talk about the margarita that might or might not have been there on the table. But when you eat pretty clean and you do something like that, you are absolutely going to feel it. And I can just turn to shred. And even if I do it for a couple days after that, you feel it. You will feel a difference really quickly. For me, the hardest part, and because there's some flexibility, and Jen gave me forgiveness in doing this, because caffeine, that coffee in the morning, mama's not giving it up. But I did go to organic, and that, I mean, you can get it anywhere. That was super easy. I had my 1 or 2 cups, and I didn't feel like I was sacrificing anything. I didn't feel deprived for anything. The other thing for me that was kind of difficult is just eating by 6 o'clock. Just my schedule is insane. I'm usually out on appointment still at 6 o'clock. And so Jen also taught me, look, as long as you're kind of cutting it down by about 7:30, depending on when you go to bed, the whole point is to be able to have time to digest before you rest. So you're not, getting immediately into bed. I was able to do that easily. And so those are kind of the 2 things that I didn't do exactly on the shred program. Everything else for me was actually really, really easy to do. And the fact that from the beginning, I felt like I had that flexibility. I didn't feel like it's all or nothing. If you don't do all of these 10 things, forget it, you're off track. And there are some days where I just crave something sweet and I would have a little bite of dark chocolate or something. That's allowed. I mean, so just the fact that you're doing so much already on this list is going to make a difference. You're going to feel a difference. And for me, I think one tip I would give, at least in my experience, the first couple days I took the supplements. When I first started the supplements, I did it on an empty stomach, and that just didn't agree with me. But I just had them with my smoothie. I would go do my workout. I would come back. I would have my smoothie. And I know Jen puts them in her smoothie, and I would just take it at the same time. And that completely alleviated any issue that I had. So I think, like I said, it's something you can adopt beyond the 10 days. The 10 days, I think you're going to find, is a lot easier than it sounds. It really was. I didn't feel that I was giving up anything. And I've been on I've done the yo-yo thing, where you stop everything. And if you have one cheat meal, you're completely off the rails, and you just, it just didn't feel like something I could adopt for any period of time beyond that period that I was doing that particular diet, or that particular, whatever you want to call it, cleanse program. And with shred, because you can take this after the 10 days and take the elements of it that really work for you and made the biggest difference, you can just do it again. Like I said, I don't know if I'll do the whole shred for the next 10 days for this one, just because John's got me on a really high protein thing that I'm doing right now. But a lot of these other habits are they're easy to do. And like I said, if I ever do have that meal, and if you eat this clean, you are going to feel it when you go back to eating processed food. If you do something like that, maybe you'll choose not to, you're going to feel it a little bit. it's easy to just go right back to this. And within a couple days, you will feel different again.
I love that. Thank you, Jamie. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're welcome.
that. And I think that, you know, one thing that Jamie said, which is so true, is that it's forgiving, right? It's not this strict guidelines. Like if you mess up one day, okay, it's all out the window. I might as well just, you know, start eating a piece of cake, right? It is, even if you took a few and you did them well for 10 days, you are already ahead of the game, right? Because if you know, everybody's different. So some people have certain things that are already in place that they already do. There are some people that it's flipping their lives completely upside down, right? Like the thought of adding lots of fruits and vegetables. I mean, it's you know, it's sad, but very few people eat a lot of vegetables, right? And we know that those micronutrients are so important for our body to be able to function. So that's why these Juice Plus capsules are so awesome. It's fruits, vegetables, berries in concentrated form. You're getting small amounts of micronutrients. We also have an omega that's a vegan omega, again, that anti-inflammatory omegas 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 are so important for the body, for detoxing, for reducing inflammation. And then you're slowly adding some things that may be challenging, or taking away things like gluten and dairy is really challenging for people. But again, if you did it and you could do it for 10 days, then you say, how good you feel and how much energy you have, maybe I could do it for a few more days. And then what happens, my experience for most people is that they take this and they adopt it into their life. It becomes a framework for a healthier way to live. It does not have to be perfect all the time. Believe me, I just ate a cookie last night from the farmer's market they call them ginormous cookies, and they're like that big and like that thick. And I ate half of one and it was freaking good. But guess what I had for lunch today? A big salad. And I went back to, you know, so it's just, you just try really hard to give yourself grace, because we still have to live. But this gives you a framework for really overall health, where if you look at so many of these programs that are out there, and I won't name them, but there are so many diets out there that, yeah, maybe you lose weight, but it's virtually impossible to live that way. And what happens for most people is that they go back because they never truly learned how to have that balance of, you know, nourishing their bodies well, moving their bodies, getting good sleep, all of the things that are within the guidelines of the shred. And then they go back to kind of their old way. And then they wind up feeling like maybe they've gained the weight back, or they just, you know, they've gone back to their old ways and didn't really learn a whole lot. So this is just, I want you to see that this is just a framework. And you have an opportunity to live your life within this framework. Pick and choose. Sometimes we shred pretty often, our team. So, you know, you can always hop on with the group if you know, the accountability. I don't know if you know this, but like 95% success rate if you have accountability to others. And that's what I love about this group, is that you can be invited if you choose. You can come into our Facebook group. Within those 10 days that we are quote unquote shredding as a group, there will be recipes, there will be coaching, just support. So, you know, if you have questions, you can have those answered within the Facebook group. And then of course, whoever invited you, you can reach out to them. You have that accountability if you need that extra support. Some people don't, but you know, it's nice to be able to have that. And then we've got every recipe book you could ever imagine in the shred. You have the opportunity to have access to, with lots of different recipes that are yummy. Some really great, our complete shakes are delicious, vanilla and chocolate protein, but you can make energy balls and like acai bowls, like smoothie bowls. You can do pudding. You can use the shake and just add a little bit of plant-based milk, stir it up, put it in the fridge, and it thickens so you can eat that, and it's delicious. So you really, that feeling of deprivation that most people talk about when they're on a diet or a program, you just don't really feel that. Jamie, would you say, did you feel deprived at all?
No, 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 no. In fact, I really would have made a point of having this shake twice a day. And I was going to say, I've had a couple of friends talk about, like, I don't think I could live on 2 shakes and a meal. I'm like, no, 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 no. You know, don't misunderstand that. I'm like, my shake in the morning was loaded. I had avocado, I had greens, fruit. It was absolutely filling. It was probably 450 calories. So you're not feeling deprived. But that shake in the afternoon, sometimes I was full, but I made myself have it because I knew the nutrients. And I'm just going to give a little tip that Jen's daughter taught me. And I think she taught Jen. Take that shake, the chocolate shake with, I use the cashew milk and some ice and blend that up. And it is a Wendy's Frosty. I'm not kidding. So
It does,
super easy, but just carrying it, you know, and I would say just plan, but having the supplements, even if I got so busy, wasn't able to have a salad or something that day, I knew that I was getting I was getting what I needed. So even if I couldn't have the meal I wanted, I knew I was getting the nutrients I needed. And it's as easy as swallowing a pill or putting it in your smoothie like Jen does. But no, I never felt deprived. I had to force myself to eat sometimes.
That's good to hear. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And, you know, and too, like I said, if you decide to shred with us, being in the group, there's going to be lots of tips, right? And I mean, I always encourage my customers, clients to start their day with a smoothie that you actually blend. So you're able to throw in your fruit. Of course, like I said, you throw the capsules right in because they will blend up beautifully. You won't even know that they're there. And then you're putting things like healthy fat, like MCT oil or avocado oil, which is so important, but it also helps slow the absorption rate of the nutrients so you stay fuller longer. There's tips like that that'll really help you. And then when you're not shredding, you'll have all that. It just becomes second nature, and drinking your breakfast, regardless of whether you're shredding, is just really a super way to get lots of nutrition. I don't know of any other breakfast that has that much nutrients in it. So you'll get lots of those kind of tips. So that's really the shred. You know, one thing I did want to mention, the sleep. I think the sleep, like I said, is really the struggle for, I want to say, our country in general. Everybody's so busy being busy, and they just kind of like, sleep is just like, oh gosh, it's an inconvenience, but we know it's important. And it's very timely. Dr. William Sears and Mimi and Kristen are going to be sharing about sleep tomorrow. So Mimi, if you wouldn't mind maybe sharing a little bit about what Dr. Sears is going to cover.
Sure, I'd love to. I'm glad you brought up sleep, and I'm so glad that's one of the results from the shred. So Kristen and I today we're working on it. We're really excited. Dr. Sears is excited, and if you don't know him, you definitely want to come and listen tomorrow night, the same time. In fact, we'll get you the flyer and the info. But basically, sleep is important for brain function, but we need the proper antioxidants in our body to sleep well. And there are so many good things I've learned just by going through his slides. So please do join us. You will definitely be glad you did. And we do record them and we store them. So if you can't make it, that's okay. But it's kind of fun to be there when there'll be a big group. Kristen, is there anything you would add to what I said? Oh, you're muted, Kristen. I don't know if you're trying to unmute.
There we go. Thanks, Mimi. So Dr. Sears, yes, what stood out to me is when he said that never before in his entire medical career, which spans over 50 years, has he seen more of a need for sleep than in the last few years, and how sleep impacts every single organ system in the body. So I learned so much. Mimi and I have learned so much just preparing the presentation alongside him. And I think it's unique in that it's giving you the why you need the sleep, and then it's also giving you tips and tools to get better sleep.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's important. I mean, one night of sleep can throw you off. And I mean, you just look at what, I was listening to a podcast the other day about the daylight saving time. And they said that they actually have data, and that after the clocks have been switched, the amount of car accidents, the amount of malpractice occurrences that have happened in hospitals because of the deprivation of change of people's biorhythms. So that's really fascinating. So yes, sleep is like, we need to make it more important. So during the shred, it's something that you can just say, okay, I'm going to be more mindful of this. Let me just check in with myself. But does anyone on the call have any questions while we're here before we end?
Yes. Hey.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. When does it start and end?
Yes, it starts on the 18th of April, which is that Monday right after this Monday coming up following Easter.
Oh, thanks for letting it be after Easter.
Yeah.
Till the 18th till when?
Until the 27th.
Oh, okay.
Or beyond. It's up to you.
Okay. And what's the Facebook group?
The Facebook group is called we can
Maybe in it already, but
yeah, we can invite you. It's Simple Solutions for a Healthier Mood.
okay. I don't get on Facebook as much, but I may get on there for recipes, healthier. Okay. Okay. I think I may be in there already, but I just need to get on there.
Yes,
So.
and of course we can share, I'm sure that Hannah can share with you any of the recipe books. We have many.
Oh,
Some
okay. She's
really
given me
great
some good ones too in the past that I really like. So yeah, I'm cutting onions, so now my nose is running. So I'm sorry.
Glad you can join us. That's going to be fun. Can't wait to
Yeah,
hear your
thanks for having
experience.
me. Yeah.
So is there anyone else that have questions?
Jen, I just wanted to add something. And I don't know if this applies to anybody here or somebody listening to the recording, but Shred 10, I've been asked this before, and Sharon might have something to add to this too. That even pregnant women and postpartum and even people in treatment can do the Shred 10 because it's just flooding their body with the nutrients the body needs to heal and protect. And of course, a pregnant woman with a child growing inside them, they need all the nutrients they can that will help build that precious baby into a healthy child. And so it's definitely okay to do the shred because you're not depriving yourself. That's not part of the program. So, and Sharon, if you have, Sharon's a nurse, that's why I brought that up. But if you have anything you would add to that.
No, I think you said it very well. It's not restrictive. It's actually all about adding more healthy foods to what you're consuming each day. And so, yeah, it's great. And I will also add that I think following these guidelines postpartum also really contributes to great milk production. And I know that my daughter and many other women, young moms who have taken Juice Plus and drank the shakes also really notice that breastfeeding goes very well. Their supply is abundant. So.
Thank you.
That's good to know. Thank you. Yeah, and again, it's just adding more nutrition to the body, of which most of us in our day-to-day need a little help. We just do. It's amazing how even today, I mean, traveling, you just forget to eat sometimes. And so just to be able to kind of hone everything back in, get yourself reset, feeling like you're just, okay, a healthier version of yourself, then you can get out in the world and do what you need to do, what God's brought you to this earth to do on the healthier level of yourself. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your time, and we're excited to have you join us. If you decide to join us, just reach out to the person that invited you and get all the information that you need, and they can get you connected to our Facebook group. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks.
This was excellent.